And please welcome Mr. Vivek Thomas from ICUBE and also Ibu Karissa Adhyaningrum from Uniqlo.
Yeah, it's on, right? Just check.
Testing?
Yeah.
Yep, it's on.
Yeah, so good morning, everybody. Thanks to Meet Magento 2022 for giving us this opportunity. We'll be speaking today as a tag team. So first I'll go and then it'll be Karissa, right? So we will first, once the slides are up, I hope, right? So we'll be talking about performance marketing. I'll be talking about performance marketing. And there are some myths that perhaps we want to clarify and bust today, right? In terms of digital marketing, in terms of where do you spend your money. There are some interesting questions here on how you're going to spend on social media. So I've got some interesting insights which I would like to share. And then Karissa here will speak about how Uniqlo is doing certain things, especially in communication, how creatives are being made, and also in terms of customer loyalty. And just before we start, I mean, how many of you all are running e-commerce, brands over here? Just a show of hands. How many of you all are running e-commerce brands? And how many of you all are then the tech providers? How many are running brands? Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah, and I assume the rest of the people are tech providers, providing and enabling the services for the e-commerce brands. Am I right? Okay, cool. Okay, so there's a good mix over here. So we've got both tech providers plus the brands as well. So one of the things that I'll be talking about is how we can use data, right? And a lot of questions came here. How do we gather data? How do we use data, right? So I will be talking about using data from campaigns and how we can actually understand and take some decisions, especially spending decisions, buying decisions for your e-commerce brands. And even for the tech providers, I think it's very important that if we know that there are these data-driven decisions that can be taken, how can tech providers actually enable the brands to actually gather this data so that it can be analyzed, so that you can take decisions with much better confidence?
Okay, I think there's still an issue there.
Maybe, you know what, maybe since, you've got a big brand, why don't you all, there can be some questions. I know you can see the topic, right? Maybe we can ask some questions. Does anybody have any questions? I know I've not spoken, and neither has Karissa, but are there any, let's say, questions that maybe with respect, you had questions on digital marketing or in terms of spending on a funnel, top funnel, mid funnel, or with respect to marketing analytics, how do you do marketing mix modeling? These are things that I'll talk about. If there are any questions which are there, but you wanted to ask but didn't get a chance, now's the time. Is there any question? Oh, by the way, I understand Bahasa. You can speak in Bahasa. I understand, but kalau saya mau ngomong di bahasa sedikit susah, tapi saya bisa mengerti. So if you want to ask in bahasa, you can ask as well. Any questions before we get the things on, start? Does anybody
Is anybody here have questions? I think there's a lot of curiosity in here.
Yeah.
But there's just
maybe I've
need a
picked up
push,
I've picked up the curiosity, but maybe still it's not. Yes.
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 Hello, Vivek. Hello,
Hi.
Karissa, Julie from Zendit. We're
Hi.
a payment tech enabler for all the brands here. So I want to just look at the title of Karissa. You said Uniqlo Performance Marketing Mythbusters. I have to admit, performance marketing is always a myth for brands and enabler alike. So in your opinion, like for Uniqlo, also Vivek, right, from tech perspective, what are the most effective ways to do performance marketing and also prove ROI in a very clear, easy way?
Okay, should I go for it?
You should
Okay.
go.
Okay.
I'll go after.
So how can we improve ROI with performance marketing? Okay, it's a good question. I have some slides coming up exactly to answer that. Hopefully I would, but without trying to, go ahead, maybe since the slides are up there, I think I'll answer. And I hope I'll be able to answer the questions once you come over here. Can we go to the next slide, please? So there are three things that we will speak about today. The first thing is to answer the question from the lady from Zendit, right? Sorry, I didn't get your name. But the first one is, how can we address, and I will answer that question, how can we address ROI in terms of performance marketing? And one of the techniques that I will introduce, I mean, it's a well-known technique. It's marketing mix modeling, okay? To understand marketing mix modeling, and I'll explain what it is. The second thing that I will also speak about is to understand customer loyalty, right? That's very, very crucial. It plays such a crucial role in determining what kind of tactics or strategies that you do with respect to your customers. And finally, Karissa over here will speak about what kind of creatives actually work best. When should you use a more emotional creative, and when should you use a more functional creative? So that's what Karissa is going to speak about, okay? So next slide, please. So the first one is marketing mix modeling. The first slide, which will come up very soon, will be, so what is the meaning of, I need to just give you a little bit of context because not everybody would understand marketing mix modeling. So marketing mix modeling means that you try to derive a function or a relationship between sales over here. Sales is what all of us want, right? If you're a tech provider or for the brands. Sales is dependent on multiple aspects of the marketing mix. The marketing mix, I mean, if you read from Philip Kotler, it'll be, the 4 Ps, price, place, product, promotion, and there are other derivations of it. But with respect to e-commerce, or for that matter, any brand, you will see that sales is actually derived because of your brand equity. It would be derived because of changes in your price. There might be reasons of seasonality, harbolnas, there are multiple events. Then there'll be things like distribution and many other, and very importantly as well, different types of paid ads, okay? So these are the different factors that actually contribute towards driving your sales. Now, it's very important, once there are techniques which actually help you to understand this relationship. Because if you understand this relationship, then you can decide where is it that you can actually put in money, or how much do you spend in a more accurate manner. And that will help you, because if you know there's a relationship here, if you spend properly on the right side, then what will happen? Your sales increases, okay? What I'm going to share with you over here is, what we've done is, this is data from multiple brands that we have analyzed, okay? So we have aggregated this data so that it can give you some kind of insights. So there are two things over here. On the top, the first one is telling you that if there was sales, what are the contributions coming from these drivers? Please, there are some assumptions here, and I've eliminated some things like seasonality and all that. So we've rebased this, it will add up to 100%. Now, if you were a large brand, and we classify large brands as those brands who have sales anywhere between 20 billion Indonesian rupiah to about 200 plus million annual sales. You will notice that for a large brand, the top 3 contributors are brand equity, website, that means if you're selling from your own website, and then comes marketplace. Now, marketplace is also equally important. And then comes promo. So what's very obvious here, if you are a large brand, and you will be saying, oh, well, Vivek, this is so obvious, right? But you need to know these percentages, right? And that's important. So if you were a large brand, brand equity plays a very big role, and you'll see that that's 30%. So if you did not run ads at all, or you did not do any marketing activities, for a long period of time, 30% of your sales can come just because of your brand's equity, okay? That's what this means. The other two aspects, now, there's always a debate, right? Should a big brand go marketplace? Should it go only website, or should it go dual? Okay, there are many brands like Uniqlo who only go website, right? And there are brands who would do both. And there are some brands who would go only marketplace. But if you are a large brand, you will notice that the percentage of importance, especially on running paid ads on website, is as same or equal to the marketplace. Now, let's compare it with the smaller brands. If you are a smaller brand, which means that your sales is anywhere between 2 or 3 billion to about 20 billion, then you will notice that your brand equity is significantly lower because you don't have that kind of equity among the minds of customers. And the other thing is that you rely a lot more on the right aspect, which is promos and discount. So you are actually having to buy your customers because by giving them discounts, okay? And that's where you will see that 33%. So now why is this percentage very important, right? Because if you are as a brand, you need to know how much money do I spend on promo and how much money should I spend on paid ads. Like from this data, you can clearly see if you are a mid-sized brand, on paid ads, you just need to sum these two numbers about 45%, right? 46%, whereas you should spend a lot more, 30% on promos. Whereas if you're a larger brand, you should be spending money on website and your marketplace, okay? So that's what this actually means. How do I spend money on the various funnel? Yeah, the funnel. You know what is the funnel, right? The funnel means that you have a top funnel, which is typically for creating awareness. The mid funnel is for creating what is known as consideration between the buyer and the brand, and the bottom funnel, which is the conversions, or that's what everybody wants, money. Now, what marketing mix modeling also tells you is that how do you spend money across the funnel? Now, what this shows you over here is the first actual spend. For large brands, you will see that a big chunk of money goes actually onto the bottom funnel because everybody wants sales, right? So there's a tendency for everybody to just spend money. Oh, I just want to run conversion campaigns. I want to run CPAS. I want to run retargeting ads which go drive conversion, right? That's what typically performance marketers or digital marketers would do. But what we have found out is that if you are a large brand, in fact, you are the ideal spend coming from a marketing mix model, you are underspending on the top funnel, okay? And typically, why that happens is because as marketers, we'll think, oh, why should I spend money on awareness? I'm already a well-known brand, right? But if you have to get your brand out there and reach more people, you need to be spending money on the top funnel. And that's what this says, right? So for a large brand, from our analysis, we believe that there has to be a slightly more bigger spend on the top funnel, right? Now, for a small size brand, this is interesting. And this is where I have actually, I mean, when I saw this data also, it was quite surprising. Now, as a small brand, you are under more pressure for sales, right? Because you are trying to compete and you want to be, winning out there. But if you see, and you would have seen from the previous slide as well, right? That as a small brand, your brand equity is very low. Now, how do you get yourself well known to more customers? Now, yes, you want sales, and this is let's say a dichotomy in your mind, right? So you need to get sales, but at the same time, you need to get awareness for your brand. Now, what we've found is that as a smaller brand, everybody focuses on the bottom funnel or the sales, but in fact, if they were to spend a lot more money on the top funnel, which is to actually make people more aware of their brand, the likelihood for them to increase their sales significantly increases, okay? And that's why we say that right now it's only 6.5% is being spent on the top funnel. We are recommending that small brands increase it to close to 40% of their spend on the top funnel. Quite a dramatic increase, but that's what our analysis tells us, that if you were actually spending that much, it would give you a much better bang for your buck. Okay, now I don't have the time here, but I hope I'm okay. Yeah, right. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, now, the next part of the presentation is going to share with you insights about customer loyalty. Now, for customer loyalty, we've made it a little bit more simple, okay? There are multiple, I mean, there are models over here for loyalty, which are called RFM models, which are called recency, frequency, and monetary. It's a very famous, simple kind of model. The problem with that model is that one customer can be bucketed into about 11 or 12 quadrants. It's quite complicated to understand. But I have simplified it without trying to oversimplify it. Now, what does this tell you over here behind? Between large and small customers that we have, or brands, if you were a larger brand, you would have a lot more loyalty, as you can see over here, 29% versus 24%. But what is interesting is the one in the middle and also on the right. Obviously, if you have more loyalty, you will have less number of lost customers. What lost customers also tells you is that 1 in 3 of your customers you will lose. Okay, so you be ready to lose almost 1 in 3 of your customers. What does that also tell you? That means you need to always bring in new customers or fresh customers into your customer profile, right? So you're going to lose customers, you need to bring in fresh customers, and hopefully move these fresh customers into loyal customers. As a brand, your challenge should be to, how do I move my fresh customers into loyal and not fresh into lost, okay? Now, if you are a big brand or you are a smaller brand, the challenge for acquiring new customers remains the same, because you need to acquire nearly 40% of these customers, and these are new customers. And to acquire new customers, that's where digital marketing, both organic plus paid, plays a very, very crucial role. And I'll show you in the next slide, please, what is the value of a loyal customer. Now, if you see over here, from this data, we will tell you on the left side, you'll see that there are customers over here. What percentage of your sales comes from a loyal customer if you were a large brand, and what percentage comes from a smaller, let's say, smaller brand. Now, one loyal customer is equivalent to 2.2 average customers. Okay, that's from our analysis, because if you keep one loyal customer, it's equivalent of keeping 2.2 of an average customer. And the numbers are more or less the same if you look at if you were a large brand or if you were a smaller brand. The only difference would be in the basket size. If you're a larger brand, typically your basket size tends to be slightly higher when compared to a smaller brand. Okay, now, you will note here, you will see that there is such a lopsided effect over here. The loyal customers, for especially large brands, account for nearly 65% of your sales, right? And in terms of your revenue. And that's because, you see, loyal customers are defined as people who come not just once to your brand and buy, right? But they might repeat, you see, and they keep on repeating. And that's why they are very, very valuable to a brand. So it makes it very important for brands, especially, to encourage and grow these loyal customers, because that has a very, very significant impact on your revenues. Because if you lose this one loyal customer, you need to bring in 2.2 new customers to, to equalize that loss, okay? The lifetime value on a loyal customer is significantly more than, let's say, a fresh customer, and definitely a lost customer is somebody who you would lose forever. Now, I'm going to now bring in my co-speaker over here, Karissa. Please go to the next slide, right? And so what I'm going to ask, and maybe that's something which you guys would want to hear from a big global fashion brand. So I want to ask Karissa, and Karissa is going to explain. So how does Uniqlo help and encourage loyalty among their customers? Over to you, Karissa.
Nice. Thank you, Vivek. So how does Uniqlo keep loyalty high among online customers? So basically, we have to know, firstly, our customer base on how many are loyal, how many are actual loyal customers, and then fresh customers, and also even the customers that we lose. So it's good to know what kind of customers we actually have on our platform, and from that we create programs for loyalty customers specifically, or fresh customers specifically, so that they can convert to loyal, so that we can continuously increase our loyal customers. So basically, you have to curate and create programs according to the behaviors of the loyal customers and what could provide beneficial, additional and beneficial attributes for the consumers. So basically, that's what we're trying to do as well, and to continuously grow our loyal customers on our online platform. Yeah. So maybe next, if we go to the next slide, I want to talk about creatives. So creative materials are really, really important, because that's the meeting point between your brand and the customer, right? So the audience itself. So we have to ensure that we create creatives that are smart and are easily resonating with the audience. Therefore, if we go to the next slide, this is what we have done for our current Marnie campaign. So basically, we divide our creatives into two, emotional creatives and functional creatives. These work in different ways in terms of how we communicate to different audiences. So speaking of audiences, it's actually better for you to segment different audiences, because by segmenting your audience, you know how to curate messages for each persona, and that's what we call here personas. And this specifically is for our Hangouters persona. And for Marnie itself, for the emotional creatives, we focus mostly on aspirational, talking about showing that it's the Marnie brand, that it's collaborating with Uniqlo, showcasing a more aspirational aspect towards it, and also that the name Marnie itself is already really renowned to some of the higher end customers, which is also segmented in the Hangouters persona. I don't know if we can play the ad, or if we can play the video. I don't think we can. We cannot, yeah? Well, basically, the difference between these two creatives are, this showcases more into a video that showcases the aspirational feel, what kind of feeling that the Marnie collab can provide to the audience. So that's what this type of communication is more about, whereas this one is more functional, based. So we talk about the color, the pattern. So it's not really about the model or like the person wearing the outfit itself, but it's more about the actual clothing, the actual patterns, the actual wear that we showcased in the functional ads. And this is more towards funnels, targeted towards the mid-funnel to bottom funnel, because we already basically encased the core message on our emotional creative as well. So I guess in summary, in terms of smart creatives, firstly, we have to know our target audience. We have to segment the audience so that we know how to communicate to each segmentation. And then from that, break it down further to communicate, how to communicate top funnel communication and then mid to lower funnel communication. And that is why we differentiate between emotional and functional. So I guess, yeah, in summary, that's what we have done so far, and we want to continue to improve for Uniqlo in terms of creative ads. So
Okay.
maybe if we go next, we can discuss, or like if anyone has any questions, we're open to answer them.
Yeah, well, that's it from the two of us. Thank you for patiently listening. Yeah, so if you have any questions, we'll be happy to take them.
Yes, is there anyone in here have any questions to Mr. Vivek or Ibu Karissa? Please will do because they will answer your questions. Will very comprehensive.
Yeah, so.
Yes, lady over there, please.
Hello, hello. My name is Nadia. I'm from El Essential company. I want to ask you about what if we lost our loyal customers? What is the first thing that we must do? Should we gain their loyalty, or we just let them go? Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll go there and then Karissa maybe have more tricks on this. Okay, I'll give you my perspective, which would be from, trying to understand and market to them, right? So, yes, there will be customers, your competitors are constantly attacking your loyal base, right? So, if your loyal customer has gone away, right, what can you do? Should you just allow them to go? In my opinion, you should give it a fight, okay? Don't just allow them to just go, right? Now, when you identify loyal customers, there's something called as old loyal. They were loyal to you, but they've gone, okay? Now, first you need to identify who are these old loyalists who were with you, but have gone away, right? Now, one way, there are two tactics that you can do. I mean, just two little tactics. Number one is that you should offer them something that they have not bought. If they've already bought, so why did they lose your loyalty? Maybe they might have bought some product, they might have got some kind of dissonance with that product and don't want to buy it again. So it does not make sense to go back to them with the same product. So first, identify who the old people are. Give them an offer on a product which they have not bought. See, it's counterintuitive. It's not bought because you have to assume that the ones that they buy right now have created the dissonance, right? And the second thing, I think, maybe Karissa, I don't know if you can share, but one of the things maybe how you guys have done in terms of giving differentiation in terms of offers, maybe you can share that with the team. That's a good trick that these guys do.
Yeah, so maybe one example could be the different type of promotions that you can offer, that could acquire new audience as well as, the older released audiences, customers. So basically we have to be able to offer promotions or like different type of products that they could be interested in as well. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with trying to retarget them as long as you communicate it in trying it out in a different way or testing and learning what kind of offers work and what doesn't. So yeah, like Vivek said, it's good to put a fight to actually keep the lost customers.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Such a sharp question.
Is there any question? We still have one more questions here. Yes. Can we give him a mic, please?
Selamat siang. Saya dari Bodypack. Yang ingin saya tanyakan itu adalah bagaimana kita sebagai brand ataupun e-commerce menyikapi perubahan regulasi data di tahun 2023. Karena seperti yang udah kita tahu, GA4 itu udah mau migrasi di tahun 2023 dan GA yang sekarang kita pakai itu udah bakal di shutdown per tahun depan. Dan terus kemudian bagaimana kita menyikapi peristiwa cookies doom, di mana tahun depan itu Pixel dan script tag Google Ads itu bakal kurang relevan untuk dijadikan sebagai metode remarketing ads. Mungkin dari saya itu saja. Terima kasih.
Okay, I'll answer that. Okay, good. Very technical question. I'll answer in English, yeah? I hope it's okay. So I think just for the benefit of the audience, the question is that next year, in 2023, by the way, it's actually 2024, Google has actually announced that they will deprecate pixels, and the announcement has been actually pushed to 2024. Okay, so you know that iOS has blocked pixels, and there are only certain events that can be shared because of their privacy policy, and that has significantly affected the effectiveness of ads because the signals are lost. Right now, how can you prepare for this? There are two suggestions. I will give you some suggestions. Number one is that if you're doing a lot of marketing on Facebook platform, the Meta platform, I would strongly recommend that you install Conversions API. Conversions API is a server-to-server interface which allows that your brand's data, your website data, is passed to Facebook in a hashed manner. Right? So rather than the pixel, because the browser is the one which blocks you, right? So if you were actually passing from server to server using Conversions API, then Meta can still understand the attribution and can still do a remarketing. In fact, from a lot of the brands who we have helped install Conversions API, we have seen a much better remarketing performance than only using Pixel. So if you're using Pixel, you should have a redundant setup, Pixel plus Conversions API, which will actually help you to improve your marketing. Now, for Google, and you said GA4. Now, GA4, not Google Analytics version 4, which has been launched. Not many people have installed it. Now, there are some fundamental new changes that Google, as well as Meta, as well as TikTok, everybody has done. Because the signals are blocked, what they're doing is that a lot of the analysis on attribution is being done by prediction. It's a probabilistic prediction. It's not actual. So earlier, while you could have actually seen a person go through the entire customer journey and assign a conversion to the person, right now, you need to use some signals and make a prediction whether the person has bought or not bought. So in the future, most of the analytics which is being done will be a predictive analytics rather than a definite confirmative kind of analytics. So GA4 is doing that. Meta is already doing it. TikTok, if you look on TikTok's business manager, you will see something called as, there are two columns, conversions and assisted, or not assisted conversions. You will see a derived conversions. And that derived conversion is not, that has not come from a signal. It is a derivation from TikTok or from Meta or from Google, and they make a prediction that, okay, this many conversions might have happened. And they always underreported because, they don't want to give you a slightly better picture than what it is. Okay, so that's how I think, and you need to be ready with things like data loss, because if we don't have data, should we stop marketing? No, of course not, right? So we'll have to find ways to reach our customer, and rather than just doing fire and forget, which is not a really good strategy, it's still, we can, do some kind of smart ways of targeting these customers using these signals, right? I hope that answers your question. All right. Any other questions? Or am I stopping you all from lunch? Okay.
Okay, it's done, the question and
okay.
answer. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, but please stay here because we have something for you guys. Thank you so much for the insights. Very, very, very insightful and eye-opening presentation from you guys. And I would like